Hello, Williamsville Central School District families. Late Friday evening, the New York State Department of Health announced new COVID-19 guidance for schools, allowing for increased capacity for in-person instruction by reducing social distancing under certain conditions. This updated guidance document is available on our website. I'm encouraged by the resolve and resiliency shown by our students, parents, teachers, staff, and administrators. I look forward to seeing our teachers continue to deliver a high-quality education to our students, both in person and remote. Thanks to our proactive planning, we are prepared for these changes and are moving quickly within each of our buildings to allow for increased capacity for full-time in-person instruction. At the elementary school level, we are planning to implement changes to meet the updated guidance on Monday, April 26, 2021. Elementary students will return to 5 days of in-person instruction. At the middle schools and high schools, students will return 4 days of in-person instruction when conditions allow. It is important to note that due to the high rate of transmission in Erie County and pursuant to the guidance set forth by the New York State Department of Health, the middle and high schools are required to maintain 6 feet of social distancing and will not be able to return to full-time in-person instruction at this time. Our plan for middle and high schools is ready to be implemented as soon as our region reaches the benchmark set by the New York State Department of Health in the updated guidance. To help finalize our plans, we need your cooperation in completing the Instructional Model Survey, which will be available on WITS today for families. You need to fill out the survey for each of your children. You'll also be asked to answer transportation questions. On the survey, you'll be asked, with a change in state guidance allowing for increased capacity for full-time in-person instruction, which instructional model do you choose? The options are full-time in-person instruction, remote instruction. The transportation questions you will be asked are, will your child or children require morning bus transportation for in-person instruction? Yes or no? Will your child or children require afternoon bus transportation for in-person instruction? Yes or no? It is important to note, by selecting no, you acknowledge that you will be providing transportation for your child, or your child is a remote student and does not need transportation. If you select no and should need transportation in the future, you'll need to notify the school district and district transportation department. Your completion of this survey is critical to ensure we have the most accurate information and know how many students will be in our buildings and classrooms. We will send reminders through our e-alert system and follow up with families. Once the survey window closes, the district will work diligently to collect, format, and present this information to our school community. At the elementary level, it is possible that a change in teacher may occur for any student, whether they choose to remain in-person, remote, or switch models. Your principal will contact you if your child's teacher will change. Here is a summary of the key elements for the plan to pivot. Step 1, send out informational survey to families. Step 2, develop committees for the reset, relaunch, return, and begin specific planning. Step 3, review data from the informational survey. We have already completed the first 3 steps of our plan. Step 4, inform staff and families of changes to state guidance regarding social distancing when guidance is updated. Step 5, send out instructional survey to families asking them to choose an instructional model for the remainder of the year. Step 6, reconfigure classrooms and other areas within school buildings to meet updated guidance. Steps 4, 5, and 6 will be completed concurrently. Step 7, share instructional survey results and next steps with staff and families. Share the instructional information with staff and families regarding any changes for students, teachers at the elementary level. Conduct a district-level presentation to our school community on the guidance and information, building specific presentations to our community for new health safety protocols and any additional changes within the building. Step 8, begin implementation of the new guidance. And now let's take a look at the implementation timeline for the plan to pivot. It is our understanding, based on the new guidelines from the New York State Department of Health, that a return to full-time in-person instruction is dependent on the rate of transmission. There are 4 levels of the rate of transmissions outlined in the guidance. They are low, moderate, substantial, and high. Based on current data and information from the Erie County Department of Health, the district is in an area of high-risk transmission. This information is available on Erie County's website. The district is prepared to implement the plan to pivot and have students return to full-time in-person instruction in 2 weeks. The dates listed in the timeline are subject to change based on conversations with the Erie County Department of Health. If there are any changes to these dates, we will communicate that to staff and families as quickly as possible. Today we sent the instructional model survey to families. On Tuesday, we will present information at the Board of Education meeting. The instructional model survey is due Wednesday at noon. On April 15th and 16th, we will review and analyze the instructional model survey and implement necessary changes to our classrooms and transportation. On April 19th, the district will have a formal presentation for our school community. A time and link will be shared later this week. On April 20th, the elementary schools will have presentations for families. On April 21st, the middle and high schools will have presentations for families. Links and times will be shared later this week. On April 22nd and 23rd, we will make any final adjustments and preparations for the plan to pivot. On April 26th, there will be implementation of the plan. Students will return depending on the rate of transmission. Now let's take a look at the elementary schools. As stated earlier, the district is currently in an area of high-risk transmission in Erie County. According to the updated guidance from New York State Department of Health, in counties with high risks of transmission, elementary schools can maintain physical distancing of at least 3 feet between students in classrooms, and cohorting is recommended when possible. On April 26th, students who selected full-time in-person instruction will begin receiving instruction 5 days a week. Students who choose the remote instructional model will continue to receive instruction in the remote model. Any changes to student and/or teacher assignments will be communicated by the principal before April 26th. Let's take a look at the middle and high schools. The district is currently in an area of high-risk transmission in Erie County. As stated in the updated guidance, in middle and high schools, 3 feet between students in classrooms is recommended only when schools can use cohorting. When schools cannot maintain cohorting, middle and high schools must maintain physical distancing of at least 6 feet between students in classrooms. Middle and high school students do not cohort and will continue with the current high-flex model until the rate of transmission changes. If the rate of transmission falls and the district is in a designated area of low, moderate, or substantial risk of transmission, each of our middle school and high schools will still be prepared to implement the plan to pivot on April 26, 2021. The remote instructional model will still remain an option for students and families who do not wish to return to full-time in-person instruction for this school year. Middle and high school students will return to 4 days of in-person instruction. Wednesdays will continue with a synchronous experience for all students and allows for office hours and individual supports for students. Health and safety is still our top priority. While school employees have been eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine since January, on Friday, April 16, 2021, the district will be hosting an on-site vaccination clinic for faculty and staff. We are committed to maintaining an educational environment that is as healthy and safe as possible, and are proud to provide this for our faculty and staff. As a reminder, the instructional model survey on WITS needs to be completed by Wednesday, April 14th at noon. It is critical to have responses from all of our families and students so we properly account for increased capacity within our schools and maintain an educational environment that is as healthy and safe as possible. We will keep you updated and share information throughout this process. Thank you for your patience and understanding as we continue to navigate the COVID-19 pandemic and the updated guidance from New York State. Thank you again.